can be magnanimous when you write your contract or when you use your contract. So, for example, if you work in the EU, then you have a right to interest on late payments. It's not a great massive amount. It's like 8% above base, roughly 8%. But if somebody pays you late, you could insist on them paying that interest to you and the compensation fee to cover an administrative charge. Or you could simply remind them, give them a nudge and say, about that invoice that you haven't paid, can I have my money? Now, personally, I prefer the clients that pay like that. It's virtually landed in their inbox and it's already paid. But I appreciate that not everyone has the internal processes to allow that. However, do not ever use your internal processes as an excuse not to pay on terms that we have agreed. A client tried that with me once. I nudged them and said, I hasten to notice that you haven't paid either of your 2 invoices. They sent me back, the MD personally sent me back an explanation of their internal payment process. And the sarcastic northern side of me slightly got the better of me when I said, that's all very well, but you signed a contract to pay me in 7 days. Please pay me in 7 days. The sarcastic bit was I pointed out at the bottom that if they needed any assistance with understanding what it meant to sign a contract or to comply with a contract, that's exactly the sort of training I just provided for them. And maybe I should extend it to their wider staff as well. We can be magnanimous when it comes to changes. A client decides that the date is wrong or the location is wrong or it's moving from virtual to hybrid or face-to-face or backwards and round in circles constantly. We can say, that's great, we can do that for the same price. Or we can actually say, well, we can do that, but that's a change. And we need to agree the change because that's now new scope, a new contract, a new deal. We can choose how we enforce our contract terms, whether we enforce interest on late payments or just give them a nudge, whether we use the withdrawal of copyright to give them a bigger nudge if they're still ignoring us. We can be magnanimous in the way we operate our contract as well as the way we write it. And sometimes you kind of get a gut instinct whether this is the right time to be magnanimous or not. Like the story in my newsletter about Mick Jagger and Keith Wood being magnanimous about a copyright battle with Richard Ashcroft of the Verve. You see, that was pretty unpleasant litigation. It was going to take a lot of time, expertise, legal costs, energy. And they decided, frankly, it wasn't worth it. If you shrug your shoulders, then it may not be worth it. Now, it could be that you're a maximizer or a satisficer, to use Malcolm Gladwell's terms about whether you want to get the best or good enough. It could be that you're proactive or reactive. It could be that you're laid back or tightly wound. These cultural personality traits will make a difference to how magnanimous you're prepared to be. It could be that your gut instinct just says that for this client, it's not the right thing to do. But let's default setting be magnanimity rather than petty vindictiveness, corporate bullying, or just overly commercial without being any form of kind, chivalrous, liberal, flexible, or generous. Because your contracts can be magnanimous and the way you operate your contracts can be magnanimous while still safeguarding your business. And by doing so, you will be sure that you're not annoying your clients.